Hello, everyone from Tram Town. As you remember, just before Christmas, I did a little video asking for people to come forward about their tram memories of the inland routes. And we've had a lot of people contact us and want to get involved. So, big thank you for that. And we're making our debut today with the brilliant Frank, who's joined us. And Frank's
Uh,
going to tell us about his memories. And we're just going to have a nice chat about those inland routes and so forth. So, big thank you, Frank. Welcome to Tramtown. Brilliant.
Welcome. Yes,
So, Frank,
pleasure,
what was
pleasure.
it that you wanted to tell us and share us about your memories and so on?
Well, I would have to go back to my childhood. I was between 11, 13, say, this type of thing. Uh, Very happy memories because the main mode of transport then really was the trams. I've happy memories of riding on them, more
Yeah.
or less all over Blackpool. One of the main routes which I knew quite well. I used to live just off Side Lane, and I went first uh, to Waterloo School on Waterloo Road. The tramway, one of the tramways I like to talk to you about, was from Talbot Square right the way through to the Royal Oak at South Shore. It was very special in my memory as a child because as children, we use it. You use it to get into town, to the centre of town, and also down to the Royal Oak, which then gave us access a very short walk to the promenade, the beach, of course, the South Pier, the Pleasure Beach, and it used to be really exciting then because of the noise the trams used to make, the squeaking,
Yeah.
etc. I'm going back to the days of the beginning of the trams that used to have not padded seats, wooden seats. They used to trundle along all the way down Church Street to Whitegate Drive, down Whitegate Drive, before you got to the old pub, the Saddle pub, which is still there today, was a big depot. There used to be a big tram depot there, and sometimes in the early morning or late evening, it had big sliding doors. You see the double deckers all used to go in there at night to park up. You see them in the morning coming out, some going into town, some coming down to South Shore. Demise Road was a special spot. The tramway there, the tram lines used to swing round like rail tracks did
Wow. Yeah.
from Church Street, swap over onto Whitegate Drive, which was quite an experience. As kiddies, we used to love sitting upstairs because you got a wonderful view of everywhere. At the Oxford was something very special. Was a station, a tram station, if you like, across from the Oxford pub. In there was quite plush in them days. It had wooden seating, so you was out of the bad weather. Quite warm in there, and believe it or not, it even had a toilet.
Wow.
So that was something very special then.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, if you was catching the tram, the adults, or if you was with your mum and nearly break your fingers holding onto your hands tight, so you couldn't run off or anything, because then, of course, you had to come off the pavement onto the road,
Ah,
cross
yes.
part of the
Yeah.
road to climb aboard the tram. And the same when you get off, the conductor would get off, just see if it was safe for you to go then across onto the pavement safety. But please remember, in them days, there wasn't as much traffic, it wasn't as busy, but it
Yeah.
was still a bit of an experience.
I can imagine. Yeah.
As you can imagine,
I think
dodging the traffic.
21st century planners call that shared space, don't they?
Yeah,
Now?
shared
Yeah,
space now.
exactly.
Yeah,
Give it a fancy
it,
term.
it was a lot different there. When you got to either end, if you like. The conductor would get off the tram. Sometimes as kids we would help him and move the back of the seats the other way around, forward if you like, for going back. He'd go to one of the big poles at the side of the road, the pavement, and get a big pole off. We remember in awe we used to watch him, and he would move the pentagraph, is it? From one of the overhead lines to the other one, so he could go back then up along Waterloo Road, Whitegate Drive, Church Street, and back into town. It was really quite a pleasurable thing which we used to love. We used to love getting aboard and then running up the stairs. It was a really, really nice experience.
So, Frank, you were just telling me there about the seats and so on, and how these things. So, do you want to have a little play with that and just push that forwards?
Yeah.
There we are, look.
Yeah.
To prove a point.
To prove a point. Yeah. I'm going to say, did you hear that? The noise it made.
Yeah.
Well, you imagine like a full set.
Wow.
When he was going, like the conductor would be going down, bang, 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 bang. And again, it was an experience. You heard all the seats going over.
Yeah.
And then we're ready for going back then, aren't we?
Absolutely. Just back again, isn't it?
Yeah. We used to think, as kids, wow, this is like something special.
Yeah.
Because like on some of the trams we're talking about, this is like a special one. This type with the long seat.
That's right.
You had two lots of these, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right.
You had this on the other side and the aisle like that. And
just as they go working their way along.
Bang, 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 bang. Right the way along, you see.
Absolutely, like a deck of cards, isn't it? Being pushed over and stuff. Gosh, I can imagine.
All the way along,
And one of the things about trams as well is the sounds that they bring to the place.
It's the sounds, like a rail engine has it on the rails, as you know.
Yeah.
It makes its noise. And then, like you say, these used to squeak and squeal as they turn. You know, like you was asking me before, we were talking about Demise Square. Well, when I think about it now, as they were coming round the bend like that, they would squeak and make noises.
Yes, yeah.
Because they're not like a train, which is easier, are they?
No.
More a solid piece.
Yeah, that's right.
I know they've got bogies.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? And you could hear them squeaking and squealing as they sort of come round.
So imagine Whitegate Drive, Dickson Road and Road all sounded different as well.
All sounded different. Yeah.
Gosh, it's quite something that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the noises you remember.
Yeah.
With trains, it's the smells, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
With these, the noises of all the seats going back.
Yeah.
Being turned back. Yeah.
It is. It's very sensory. And I think when Blackpool opens its tram extension to North Station, that part of Blackpool's going to sound different as well.
Yeah,
you get the squeals of the wheels and so on. Yeah.
You see, when you think back to what we're talking about, I remember when North Station was at the front.
Yeah.
You must
of course,
remember
that's right. Yes.
It was actually at the front.
Yeah.
Not far back like it is now.
Yeah.
It was there, you see, and you had the taxis come underneath to pick people up.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you've got a gap then, haven't you? And then the trams.
That's right. Yes. Yeah.
Went up and down Dickson Road.
Yeah.
So that's another thing, like
it is.
If you look at old pictures like it and you see, it was a different era, wasn't it? A different thing.
So imagine it sounded very different, not just for the trams, but the trains in that area as well. Yeah. Well, one thing you told me before, Frank, which I was interested in, was about the types of journeys, the way they were being used. So you were saying that you actually took some of your tools to work on the tram as well.
Yeah. Then you see, with the seats being underneath, open like these are, as well. And I think on most of they are on all the trams, aren't they? They're open underneath. Yeah, we used to. We didn't have vehicles then as much as you've got like today.
Yeah.
So like if you was going to do a repair job or just fit some new pipework, something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Then obviously we couldn't put lengths of pipe on,
Mm.
but you could cut it up into reasonable sizes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you had a bus of tools,
Yeah.
etc. And of course, like your mate as well, the
Yeah.
fitter.
Yeah.
I was only apprentice then. And we used to be able to get on the trams, you see,
Yeah.
and put them
Put
under,
under the-
put them under the seats,
Brilliant.
you
Brilliant.
know,
Yeah.
and the tools until you got off at your stop. And not the same. Coming home, you still have your tools, perhaps, you know.
Brilliant. See, the
So,
days before the white van, isn't it? This, so
yes, yeah,
you'd use
we
things to
didn't
get
have the
around.
vans like that, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
You only like got really transport if you're doing a full job
Yeah.
and you've got a lot of equipment.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
if you're doing things like that, you might be going to a bank, you might be going to
Mm.
somebody's house then,
Yeah.
different things, you know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And they used to carry stuff, you see.
Yeah. So exactly. So it
They used
wasn't
to let
just
us put it on the trams,
yeah. So
yeah,
there's loads of different
yeah,
people using it
yeah,
for lots of different things,
yeah,
I
yeah,
guess, as
for
well.
awful lots of different
Yeah.
things, you know.
Yeah. Gosh, and you were saying as well. Did your wife mention to you about the
Yes, yeah,
the
I wanted to
post
tell you
stamps?
about
Yeah. Yeah.
that. When my wife was a little girl, she lived for quite a while with a granny,
Yeah.
granddad and granny, on Whitegate Drive. Well, the tramways then obviously come down to the Oxford, and she's got vivid memories, lovely memories of her grandma saying, "I've got to catch the post tram,
Ah.
got to
Yes.
get the tram, the post tram." And from what we were talking about, what I was told in them days, she used to try and like hot foot it or run it down Newhouse Road to the Oxford, to the station there, wait for the tram, and then it would take you post or parcels
Wow.
down to South Shore,
Yeah. Yeah.
where there was a big post office. So I presume somebody met them or
Yeah.
they'd
Yeah.
got a dropping off point there.
Yes.
And it was
Yeah.
a way of moving stuff about again, you know.
Yeah. Because when you think about it, those routes they connected a lot of big
Everything
things together, didn't
connected,
they?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you was to look at a map or you looked at it now from above, it was a marvelous setup really,
Mm. Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
In a way, because it covered north and south of the town,
Yeah. Yeah.
which was really brilliant because you got like you'd got all the promenade tramway,
Yeah.
and then you'd got uh, from Talbot Square up to the station, Dickson Road,
Yeah.
a Church Street, Whitegate Drive, all down Whitegate Drive. A big one was from the promenade along Lytham Road to the airport, Squires Gate, if you like, the
Yeah.
airport, where you could connect with Lytham St Anne's transport then. So it was really a well laid out plan because the tramways actually covered more or less all the town, didn't they?
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, up to Devonshire Square that way,
Yes.
and to Squires Gate the other, and the Royal Oak.
Yeah.
So, and remember, the main routes into Blackpool then were Preston New Road,
Yeah.
Whitegate Drive. So we didn't have the motorways then.
No.
So it's Preston New Road, wasn't it? And Lytham Road, if you like,
Yeah.
or the promenade
Yeah.
from Lytham St Anne's.
Yeah. That's right. as
All
you
the
come
way
in.
through,
Yeah. Real
yeah.
peninsula stuff
Yeah,
there, wasn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And you also had South Station as well, wouldn't you? You'd
Yes,
gone over
yeah.
Waterloo Bridge
You
there.
see, that again was quite an important station
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
because you had the big sidings, and of course you had a very important station there, which perhaps people forget, which was Central Station,
Yeah.
which was the main station really right into the centre of town.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you'd got that to think about as well.
Yeah. Really integrated.
It was
Really
very
integrated.
well integrated,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And like we were talking about before, you and I, there was a sadness in a way, quite a sadness when the trams disappeared.
Yeah.
They were taken off the internal routes, really, weren't they?
Yeah.
Not the promenade.
Yeah.
It was all the internal routes. They were taken off and tarmacked over.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think you'll find most of the tram lines are still there underneath. A lot
Yeah.
of people perhaps don't know that.
The joys of digging a road up in Blackpool, I
Yeah,
imagine.
if you dug the
Who knew this
roads
was
up,
here?
you'd find a tram tracks again, which I would
Absolutely.
imagine are probably in very good condition.
Yeah,
They've been
yeah.
covered up so long. But it's like a
Imagine.
twist of history that now, all these years later, we've got a new tram link from Talbot Square to the North Station,
Yes, yeah.
which is quite amazing after all these years, isn't it?
Absolutely. I generally feel that they made such a bad decision in the
Yes,
60s
yeah, at that
to
time,
modernize and think, oh, everything's just going to be cars and
yeah,
whatnot, because everything stopped being integrated.
yes,
Everything then
yeah,
started slowly to decline. And I think when you look at Blackpool's history from its peak point, and you start seeing the removal of some of its railway stations, its
yes,
public
yeah,
transport,
yeah,
it started to shrink a bit, and
yeah,
north and south started to be cut off from each other.
correct.
And I think there's a recognition that, yeah, they made a mistake in the past, and now we need to connect all these things back
Yeah.
together again, to get people joined up and be able to get to places.
Well, I think it's a marvellous thing in another respect, isn't it? Like we're talking about how it was,
Mm,
which was quite wonderful, and now we've got a new tram link
yeah,
up to North Station, so people can come out of the station if they wish. If
yeah,
they're going to South Shore,
yeah.
they could get on the trams
That's right. Yeah,
and connect down the promenade to all the hotels
yeah,
that way,
yeah,
or even to Talbot Square and the other way,
yeah.
or to North Shore.
And say Fleetwood without its railway station,
Yes,
then
yeah,
can connect and into
yeah,
the station again. So yeah, it is. It's almost, you do feel we're trying to repair some of the damage
yeah,
that was
yeah,
done then.
yeah,
In terms of the Whitegate Drive route,
yeah,
Frank,
yeah,
from my memory, and only on the pictures I've seen,
yeah,
that it had trees as well down there.
yeah, yeah.
So
It
it
was
must have.
really, it was again, it was a nice journey.
Yeah, yeah,
Not as fast, not as fast as perhaps today,
yeah,
but it was a nice journey, especially if you sat upstairs. It was quite scenic. Um, when you think about it, as it used to trundle along tree lined Whitegate Drive, you've got to stop on a short walk to Stanley Park, which was one of the main
mm,
another main attraction
yeah, yeah,
of Blackpool. Yeah, you could always get off there and just walk to the park. It trundled its way down, so you'd see the big tram depot
yeah,
on Whitegate Drive, where all the trams are kept. Very scenic again as you came round. You crossed the main one of the main roads into Blackpool, Preston New Road of old. That was before the motorways. You read away past the Oxford, a very old pub. Uh, been there. It had been there for a long time, and then trundled again all the way down to South Shore, over the railway line, the South Station, to the Royal Oak, to the terminus there, and you was on the promenade, or you was at the
yeah.
centre of a shopping area again.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. So you've plenty of choice either way you
Yeah,
went, isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yeah. Gosh.
So please don't forget we had buses as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the trams, I think at the time was the more used
Yeah. Yeah. They were more popular.
transport.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I guess being inland routes, they were being used
yeah,
by people who lived there.
yeah.
Or
You
to
got the
get to work.
locals
Yeah.
obviously doing the shopping, because you must remember as well then, most not many people had cars.
No. No.
I'm not going back too far, but it
Yeah.
was a while before most ordinary families had cars,
Yes.
and the
Yeah.
roads got a lot busier,
Yeah.
which unfortunately I think was a bit of a demise of the tramways.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
roads just got far too much traffic on, far too busy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they've carried like thousands of passengers, haven't they?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Not just for shopping,
No. No.
carrying your working gear and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Shopping, yeah, visitors, yeah,
Absolutely. And one thing we've noticed as well here at Tramtown is that the Blackpool's fairly unique in that we've evolved our trams. So we have
Yes.
this is an Edwardian tram that we're on today, but
Yeah.
we started obviously with some earlier models, Victorian
Yeah.
ones, and up to like the 50s and 60s, they were getting more comfier. They were
Yeah.
trying to lower
Yeah.
the floor
Yeah.
height so you could easily get on, and you could see this evolution. And
Yeah.
Blackpool has
Yeah.
and is so unique because it has so many different types of trams, and you could see
Oh.
that its needs were different from inland routes. There's
Oh
big
yeah.
demand side on
I,
the price.
Amazing, really, because you've gone like from pretty open double-decker trams that were pretty cold, if you like, or
Yeah,
drafty, shall I say,
yeah,
drafty,
yeah,
to ones where you got lovely sliding doors like this one that we're sat on now,
yeah,
double seating either side
yes,
compared to the type of tram we're on at the moment, and then right through to single deckers and to the modern, what would you say, combined trams that we've got now, the very latest ones
yeah. That's
on
right.
the prom.
Yeah, yeah. So almost full
Yeah,
circle, isn't it?
yeah,
Really,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And again, viewers may not know, but we've Blackpool's unique in the sense we've got the was it first generation depot with the original
yes,
trams in it with
yeah.
double decker trams, which means it's only Oz, Hong Kong, and sorry, yeah, and Alexandria in Egypt have the original double decker trams still
Well,
running.
when you think about that, that is quite a thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
Well, there's only 3 places in the world
yeah,
that actually run double deckers.
yeah. That's right. It's
And
says a
yet
lot, doesn't it?
Blackpool, it was unique. We didn't think much about it. It was just
Just
they were
normal.
double deckers.
Yeah,
And as
yeah.
kids, let's get up on the top deck,
Absolutely, get a
get a
good view of
wonderful
it. So
view. We can see everything, you know.
absolutely, absolutely, and it's yeah, it's an amazing place with that rich history.
Yeah,
In terms of the Martin Depot, that was
yeah,
something I wanted to talk to you about
yeah,
because that,
yeah.
again, I've only ever seen pictures. We see remnants of it where Tesco's is currently on Whitegate
That's
Drive.
right. Where Tesco is in the garage now.
Yeah,
All that piece of land, just imagine they've gone.
yeah, yeah.
Well, the tracks used to go into there, obviously,
Wow. Yeah,
different one, and it was big.
yeah, yeah.
With the big, it was tall like this one. It was tall, big sliding doors,
Wow. Yeah,
and of course you two. If I remember, I'm sure you had 2 sets of tracks going in.
yeah, yeah,
You know, and it was where they were kept overnight, obviously,
yeah.
or if they broke down, it was the depot.
Yes. Yeah.
I know this was the main one here at Rigby Road,
Yeah.
but that was the one that we had there.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. I imagine a sort of a quite a dominant presence on.
Oh, and it was no, I'm trying to. It was cream, and I'm not sure about the doors, but it was council colours.
Green and cream was
I
it?
think it was green and cream, if I
Yeah.
remember.
I've only
It
seen
sticks it in my mind a bit. Yes.
I've only seen black and white pictures, but I remember
Yeah.
the corporation crest.
Yeah, it was always cream and green.
Yeah. Yeah. A sense of pride. It looked like they were trying
Yeah.
to make a statement.
Yeah.
So they've got
Yeah.
something that were functional,
Yeah.
but they tried to make it a something that can be proud
It,
of.
remember, also a lot of people forget, like on Whitegate Drive, it wasn't just the tarmacking of the lines. You got all the overhead
Oh, of course.
wires and poles, hadn't you,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
take down as well,
Yes.
which must have been quite a massive job in a way.
Yeah. Yeah. To
You got
do
all
that.
the electrics there, haven't you?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and probably somewhere hidden around that area will be lots of substation
Yeah,
feeds as
yeah,
well. I
to
imagine.
actually cope.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I don't know about Devonshire Square. You see, you'd have to look into the history.
Yeah,
Whether there was a substation there, I don't know.
yeah.
I can't remember
I know there's
about that.
You can see the curves still, can't you? Where the trams would have gone.
Where they come down, yeah. But that was, like I said, like we were talking, that was rather a nice journey because, like, it was like the back of the town, if you will.
Yes, yeah,
The Stanley Park side, if you will, which would be the east side of the town. So imagine getting on at Talbot Square. Excuse me. A lovely, lovely journey.
yeah,
Coming round onto Church Street, the Blackpool Grammar School. You pass at Rates Parade, which very unique building, lovely building, and then you trundle down, like I say, down to Demise Square, swing round onto Whitegate Drive, tree line Whitegate Drive, past the
Wow.
main entrance to Stanley Park. You'd be coming down then to the big tram depot, uh, one of the oldest pubs in Blackpool, the Saddle, down to the Oxford special station there,
Yeah.
down again to down Waterloo Road, right down Waterloo Road. You then come to the bridge over South Railway Station Bridge, and then just drop down over to the Royal Oak, and of course you got your terminus then,
Yeah.
and of course you got the tramways then going right along Lytham Road.
Lytham Road as well.
But it was only a
Yeah.
short distance to the promenade, and of
Yeah.
course you're in a big shopping area again, aren't you?
That's right.
So you could
Exactly.
either catch the tram to the town, all the
Yeah.
town shopping,
Yeah.
and you could go down not just to the promenade, the pleasure beach. You've got the South Shore shopping area as
Yes.
well.
Yeah.
So this is where the trams were very special,
Absolutely. Yeah.
very special.
So I imagine from being really busy,
Yeah,
lots of sounds, when
Yeah.
they were removed, it went very quiet. It must have been
quieter.
very,
Yeah,
very different.
quiet.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean to say, I know they put buses on, but I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think the buses were as frequent as the trams.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like the trams would trundle down to South Shore, it'd switch over its pentagram
Yeah.
onto the other wires, turn your seats all over, and you was off
Straight
again.
back again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
that's
was off
right. It was
again.
literally there
Yeah,
and back
yeah.
again. There and back
So
again.
if you're going
Gosh.
back into town,
Excellent.
you know.
And what was your favourite memory, Frank, of the trams? That's a hard question, I can imagine. But what was your favourite memory?
I think I would think just the pleasure of travelling on them.
Yeah.
To be honest with you,
Yeah.
the noise of them. There was, I think, what it was. I was brought up with these things. You see, I was brought up. We were brought up used to the trams, and it was a lovely means of transport
Yeah. Yeah.
for just getting
Absolutely.
about.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, I mean to say, I think Blackpool then and perhaps as now, it was unique, wasn't it, compared to a lot of towns
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
cities. I know cities have got tramways now, Manchester,
Yeah.
Sheffield, these places, yeah.
Yeah.
But we was first, weren't we?
Yeah. That's right.
You know,
Yeah.
and as children, it was just great. Like I say, the great pleasure of dashing upstairs, getting the
Yeah.
seats, you see, opening the window.
Absolutely.
You know, just
Yeah.
kiddie-like things.
Yeah.
Helping the conductor push the seats back.
Yeah. That's it. It makes going to
And-
school a bit more
Yeah,
interesting, less painful.
yeah. It was just something you got very used to. It was our means of transport
Yeah. That's right.
more
Yeah.
than the buses.
Yeah.
In a way,
Because
you
it,
know.
it was unique and it was Blackpool,
Yeah,
wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Just and like I say, it was good. You could hear the tram coming. It was squeaking, etc. And you knew, like, and then like you got a little bit of excitement. I've got to get across the road. Watch out for the traffic.
Yeah. Yeah.
And get on the tram and pull yourself up sometimes.
Absolutely.
You needed a conductor to give you a lift to get on sometimes.
Oh, I can imagine. I can
Yeah,
imagine.
yeah,
Yeah, because these
yeah.
were high steps.
Yeah,
of
there
this,
was
this
high
particular tram.
steps,
Yeah.
yeah.
Was
So,
yeah, it was these two to get on.
So I would think that's like my happy memories, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've
Absolutely.
never forgotten in all these years. I've never forgotten the stop at the Oxford and the shelter there, if you like,
Yes.
with the seats in.
Yeah.
You know, it was warm. You know, you was out the wind and the rain till the tram come.
Yeah. Yeah. They really thought about the
Yeah.
passengers, hadn't they?
Yeah,
And
they
just a
did. They
case of-
really thought about the passengers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's something I think that people are recognising again. That
Yes.
actually they're not just passengers; they're your customers. You want to be looking after
Yeah,
them.
you
and
got to
so
look
on.
after your
Yeah,
customers. Yeah,
you can sort of see you here. This is sort of thing you get in a
yeah,
bar, isn't it?
yeah.
Really,
I mean to say this is plush, isn't it? Really,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
comfortable, isn't it?
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and I'd gone from like wooden slats
yeah,
and a
yeah,
wooden slatted back as well
absolutely,
to this as you get on
yeah.
today.
That's right. And there
And
is
it's
a
still a nice journey, isn't it?
it makes for the journey, doesn't
Yeah,
it? You
yeah,
know you're doing your
yes,
shopping, you're going to school, you're going to work.
yeah.
You want something nice, and boy,
I
what?
mean, so my wife and I still use the trams quite a lot because we love Fleetwood,
Yes,
and
yeah,
and more often than not, even today, if you will, we would get a bus into town, and then we get the tram
yeah. That's
to
right.
Fleetwood
Yeah,
just for the joy
yes,
of travelling on the
yeah,
trams.
yeah. Absolutely,
You know, it
absolutely.
might seem silly, but it
No,
isn't.
no.
It's like I think if you've lived here all your life, you were born here, whatever, you grew up with the trams. Like
Yeah,
I grew up with the tram, and you've never forgotten them.
yeah.
And it's a nice experience.
They're part of the town's DNA, our
Yes,
DNA, our
yeah,
memories, aren't they?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And I
absolutely.
must say, what a lovely trip now if you was to go on a Stargate
Yeah,
on the new super trams, if you
yeah,
like. And you imagine going right through to Fleetwood.
yeah,
It's a
yeah,
lovely journey. And then,
absolutely.
of course, going back to what you're asking me, in the younger days, etc.,
Yeah,
it was a nice journey because I think in them days you didn't feel as rushed as you are today.
yeah, yeah.
So if you was,
Everything's there, isn't it?
yeah,
Oh, I've got to be on my phone.
yeah,
I've got to
yeah,
be somewhere.
then
Yeah,
there wasn't any of that.
no,
You went into town, did your bit of shopping, went to pictures,
yeah.
see a film, whatever, jump on the tram.
Thank you so much for
Oh,
that, Frank. That was
pleasure.
absolutely brilliant.
Great
Thank you.
pleasure.
And what we're going to do is bring you back down,
Yeah.
and we're going to give you a tour of the tram depot here at
Yeah.
Tram Town,
Yep.
and we'll record some of your thoughts as you
Yes.
see some of the
Yep.
trams. And if anybody would like to come down and record a little interview about their memories of the inland routes
Yeah.
and other trams that we used to run in Blackpool, by all means contact me. You'll see the address below. But thank you again, and look forward to seeing you again.
Oh, it's
And
been
Frank,
a pleasure.
thank you. You're a legend.
It's been
Brilliant.
a pleasure. No, it's been a pleasure.
We've loved
I've
having
really
you.
enjoyed it. Thank you.
Oh, brilliant. Thanks, Frank.
And